Hello, everyone. It's Beastly Eel here. I know it's been a while, but hey, things happen, right? But that being said, I want to first off start off with thanking everyone who watched my videos over the last month. This 30-day challenge was not exactly how I expected. The videos I thought were much better overall, but I did not get to edit them as much as I wanted to. But that's for a whole nother time. Today's episode is going to be today's video, I should say, is about She-Hulk #1. So, She-Hulk Attorney at Law debuts on Thursdays, which I find interesting. I just didn't register that they do a Thursday, but it was still good. So that being said, the only had one episode. It's about 37 minutes, and it introduces us to Jennifer. Now, what we see is she's already breaking the fourth wall right in the beginning of the episode, and we kind of see her towards the end of her journey in the episode, which we find out because we go back in time to find out what happened. So she's already talking at the very beginning of the episode that she's a Hulk and a lawyer. So how did she get there? Well, she then explains that we're going to be talking about it. So we go back in time. I don't know how far back we go. I can't remember. I think it was a few months before that. But that being said, she goes out there and excuse me, and she's going on a trip with her cousin Bruce Banner. Now, in the comics, this is accurate in the sense of Jennifer and Bruce are cousins. But he's got this device on him on his arm that helps prevent him from becoming the Hulk. Now, it's temperamental. It is not perfect. And there's the potential of it not fully working all the time. Now, it's a prototype, and it's only made for Bruce. Well, a ship lands, or tries to land, and it's from Sakaar from Thor 3, for those of you who don't remember, specifically Ragnarok, in case you don't know what Thor 3 is. Anyway, she crashes, and because of this, she's bleeding. She starts to pull Bruce out of the vehicle. Now, he's bleeding as well. Now, the issue is his blood got into her blood. Now, she then transforms into the Hulk, aka She-Hulk, and goes on, I don't want to say a rampage necessarily, but she kind of runs away. Now, we also see that Bruce's arm piece gets broken, and he turns into what we assume is the Hulk. Now, she wakes up in the middle of the woods. She goes to this bar. She tries to clean up. These women come in trying to help her out because they assume she was abused by some sort of date, which obviously was not the case, but they don't know that. So they try to help her out. They give her heals and everything else. She calls her cousin to come pick her up. She tells him where she is and everything else. Now she waits outside. Now these four guys start catcalling her, and then they look like they're going to harass her in some sort of way. But before they get a chance to do anything, she turns into the Hulk and scares them. And she's about to hit them, but what happens is that she gets tackled by what we assume is Bruce Banner, which we all are pretty sure it was. When she wakes up, she's inside. Oh, I'm sorry. She's at the beach house or beach lab in Mexico. Apparently, because we get a big old lecture about this, Tony Stark and Bruce Banner built that place for Bruce to kind of help control the Hulk, which is where Smart Hulk came. We see a nice exchange about that, and then we have the idea of Jennifer start to learn how to become a Hulk. So the thing is, she's in full control of herself when she's the Hulk. She had to get used to the idea of the sensations of being a Hulk because everything's so sensitive and everything else that it was overpowering her, and she just couldn't focus. She couldn't remember certain things because of it. But after the third time, she's at least able to function as a Hulk, meaning that she has full control over herself. She basically has the similar abilities of Smart Hulk in the sense of full control over herself, but the difference here is she's full Hulk. We'll explain that a little later. That being said, so we see the fact that now he's trying to train her into controlling it and everything else. So in this part, she doesn't know how to change naturally. She can control herself when she's the Hulk, but she's not, she doesn't actually control the fact that she can change yet. In this, at least at this part in the episode. And Bruce is explaining all the bad stuff in the sense of, you know, you could kill people, blah, blah, blah. And then she's basically stating that she's in full control of herself and she doesn't know what his problem is because she is able to control whatever she needs to control without a problem. Now, that being said, she does the very best she can. Everything else, she's showing off to Bruce and everything else. To the point where he gets frustrated and the two of them eventually fight because he thinks she needs more time to focus because his experience was so tragic. And hers is just so much easier. And it's frustrating for him, and so they begin to fight. They destroy his bar and he gets pissed off and the whole thing happens. And she's stronger than him. This is going to irritate people, but I really don't care at this point. She is physically stronger than him right now because he's not full Hulk. There is a huge difference here. And again, I'll explain it at the end of the video, but he is not full Hulk, which is why she is physically stronger than him. Because she is full Hulk. I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but it's true. Now, that being said, she leaves and becomes the lawyer again. And then she goes into the courtroom that we saw in the beginning of the episode, and she's giving her closing arguments, and then Titania breaks into the courtroom and starts throwing stuff. And this is where she shows her She-Hulk abilities and beats Titania up real easy, which is interesting overall. Now, this being said, that's pretty much the end of the episode where she kind of says, you know, I want to do my closing arguments now after transforming back into Jennifer after being the She-Hulk to beat up Titania. So some things that we got introduced to that we need to talk about. So the idea is, and this is going to tick people off, but Bruce Banner has a mental illness, which is why when he becomes a Hulk, he is not in control of himself. He has some sort of split personality type thing, not to the extent of Moon Knight necessarily, although you could argue that. The reason why I don't want it this similar to that or thinking like that is because with Moon Knight, it's the same exact body, and you can argue that yes, it's the same body for the Hulk and Bruce Banner, but it's a completely different transformation. So like the body completely changes when the other person is in control. Just so you're aware on that part. So because he's Smart Hulk, he's significantly weaker than the regular Hulk because he's in full control of himself. And it's where Hulk is just pure rage, Banner's rage specifically. But that being said, She-Hulk, on the other hand, the reason why she's stronger is because she has full access to the entire strength of the Hulk in her control, which makes her smarter, stronger, and faster than the Hulk. Now, granted, in the regular Hulk, she's not physically stronger than, but is smarter and can outwit him. There are renditions of She-Hulk where she is stronger than the Hulk or is equal to the Hulk, but that's when other things have happened, gamma bombs have hit her, blah, 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 all that stuff. But for the most part, right now, in this MCU, in that particular series right this second, she is physically stronger than him. Now, the next point I want to talk about is Titania. Now, Titania was the only person that's been introduced so far as a villain, and I put that in quotation marks because we really just see her break into the courtroom and destroy things. I know it sounds awful, but it doesn't necessarily make her a supervillain, but we'll get there later. So she's this super strong kind of brawler type being. So she goes obviously after She-Hulk. Now she gets introduced into Secret Wars, and the reason why I want to bring this up a little bit more in detail is for the sheer fact that we have the potential of seeing the possibly the Frightful Four, but also the fact that we could potentially see the Absorbing Man. Now the Absorbing Man is literally a guy that absorbs things and, you know, kind of, I hate saying it, but it literally is a guy who absorbs things and takes its properties for his own. So like he can absorb rock and his entire body's made of rock. He can absorb steel and his entire body turns into steel. Very, you know, I hate saying it, but it's kind of funny. The other thing too that I want to bring up too is the fact that she's considered a human mutate, which could lead us to the idea of us showing the mutants a little bit more. You know, they were introduced in Ms. Marvel, And now we're going to be possibly seeing more of them in She-Hulk Attorney at Law. So overall, I did like this episode. We get to kind of see how she became the Hulk and how she literally was better version of the Hulk because she doesn't have a mental illness. And I love the fact that she explains that, she's been dealing with her anger pretty much with ease all her life because of just men in general, which is unfortunately true. And we see it in the beginning of the episode. I think that might have been closer to mid, but anyway, where she deals with those guys catcalling her, and definitely seeing the fact that she's in full control of herself is definitely going to make things a lot more interesting. That being said, also, I do want to mention that the CGI is significantly better. Really did enjoy it. Overall, much better. They did a much better job with the Hulk in the sense of the story and how miserable his life is, unfortunately. And then, for a little side note, this is, obviously the most important part of the episode. We find out that Captain America lost his virginity in 1943. Just so you're aware, keep that secret. Steve doesn't want people to know, but, you find things out. So that being said, if you like the content you see, please like and subscribe below. Other than that, this is going to be Beastly Eel signing out. Have a great day.